Welcome. Thank you all for being here. So my name is Lionel Vicidomini. Just to show you very quickly what I do. Well, I don't do much. I'm more of a trainer now, trainer, teacher, and so on. And most of my recent work are actually tutorials. But the fun thing with that is making tutorial. I can do whatever I want. I don't have any client to bother me, so that's good. And those are some kind of stuff I do. I have an obsession with Lego and domino. I'm always using them to do stuff and so on. And I love to do some dynamics too. And it's always motion design, it's always animated. And I use Cinema 4D, After Effects, and recently I have learned Blender, which I like a lot. But Cinema 4D is really my tool, even though I have started with After Effects. And just to talk real quick about Motion Cafe. Motion Cafe is a French community. We manage with some friends, and we talk about motion design and so on. We do some shows, so everything is in French, of course, but I talk about it anyway, and we have tutorials and so on. And the tutorial I'm going to show you today is actually from a friend of mine. This is this one. It's very similar. The difference is, well, I have updated it to Red Giant, Cinema 4D tool, and so on, so to make it more streamlined. But the original one is from Grégory Vidien, so kudos to him. And also, yeah, I work for Maxon as a freelancer doing stuff for the Maxon training team with Eli, Jonas, all the people you've seen already. It's really fun, showing my dominoes and my Lego and so on. All right, so what I'm going to show you is this project, which is entirely done inside After Effects, but not really, because all the 3D comes from Cinema 4D. But then everything is rendered only in After Effects. So it looks like this. Maybe I'm going to reduce the sound. Yeah, that's good. So it's so that's it. Very short clip. Almost a proof of concept that we can do something that looks 3D, which is 3D inside After Effects using After Effects tools and Cinema 4D using Cineware too. So I'm going to use a lot of stuff, and it works. I didn't have any crash. I was very surprised because I'm using so many tools at the same time, and I'm going to use Lux, also Form, Cineware, Mirror, and presets from Red Giant. All right, so today it's going to be in two parts. Today I'm going to talk about Cinema 4D and Mixamo. I'm going to use Mixamo and some interesting trick about it. And I'm going also to model what you can see here, that thing, which is the pedestal for the hologram. So it's made inside Cinema 4D, but then it's rendered and shaded inside After Effects with Mirror. So the benefit is everything is live, or kind of, because you don't have to actually render. Okay, so I'm going to hide this, and let's jump to Cinema 4D and see our stuff. So let's start with Mixamo. So what I did, I went to Mixamo, which has a collection character, which is very interesting. And what I'm going to show you is going to work also if you use DAZ or actually anything. Because I'm going to take a character from Mixamo, and I took this exact guy, the Y bot, I think they call it. So let's see it, bot. And this is this one. Okay, so I'm going to use it. All right, so it's going to appear, I hope. And I might need to refresh the page. Yes, okay, this is the actual character. So they have many other characters. I chose this one because it looks nice, and it's if we want to have a running robot on a hologram, it's a good case scenario. So let's download it. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I have already downloaded it. And I'm going to import it inside Cinema 4D. So to import, actually, you're going to open. And this is the Y bot, this one. So it's 2 megabytes, and that's interesting to note. And here it is. So let's take a look at the geometry. So it's pretty nice. It's not that heavy, but it's kind of. Let's take a look at the finger, for example. There are many polygons for this. We're going to use a hologram. I want to use mirror. So I'm going to use an animated character, meaning that it's going to take resources. It's going to take computing power. So even though it worked, I tried with the character like that. It was very slow in mirror. So I said to myself, I need to reduce this. And it's very easy, really, because even though it comes from Mixamo, I'm going to get rid of everything, and then I'm going to remesh it to have a low poly character, and then I'm going to send it back to Mixamo and rig it there. And obviously, it's going to work because the topology is clean, and Mixamo is actually a fantastic rigger. Really, you can rig almost anything as long as it's humanoid. If it's a four-legged dog, for example, you can't do it. But if it looks like a human, you can. So I'm going to get rid of everything because I don't need that. And we're going to remesh using the amazing Z remesher. So this is here, the remesh. And this is the surface, so let's go on solo. And this is the first result, so first thing I'm going to do, oh yes, I forgot something very important with Mixamo, every time it gets me. I don't have access to all that. That's because Mixamo comes with takes, and the takes prevent you from doing anything. And actually, it's very bad when you have animation, because if you go back to your main take, you lose your animation. But I don't have animation, so I'm fine with that. So now I'm back to my main take. Actually, I'm going to delete those because I don't need them. And here I can tweak my stuff and so on. So I'm going to apply the X symmetry. Very important if you want to have a nice rig. And this is the first result, which is pretty good, but it's still 100% mesh density, so there is no real progress. So first I'm going to detect hard edges, shading. And now I have the somewhat hard edges here that I wanted. And now I can reduce the mesh density. So let's go to 10%. And we have this. So this is low poly. And this is too low poly, as you can see. We lose too much details. I mean, this is, yeah, I want something low poly, but not that much. So you have interesting option here is to take the adaptiveness. I'm going to have more of it. Let's go to 100%. And I get back some of the stuff, but still not enough because 10% is too low. So you have to tweak. You have to see what's going on. And I think I settle on 20%. Right? That's still pretty bad. You can try the adaptive count. So that adaptive count is going to try to even more preserve those small volumes. But then it's going, I guess, to create too many geometry here. So I'm going to tweak again adaptiveness. I maybe get back to the mesh density. And I think that was the last setting. So it's pretty low. And sometimes you have stuff like that, so you can just try. And you see sometimes just changing 1% does the trick. Okay, so the problem is now I have a mesh which is low poly. How do I rig it again? Of course, I'll need to do that also on the Alpha John. So let's do it very quickly. So I did it one by one because I have more control, obviously. Let's go in solo and let's activate the symmetry. Let's activate the adaptive count, reduce to 10%. And we have reduced the size. And here we still have some definition. And maybe we could go even lower. So I could tweak that again and again, but I'm going to use the mesh I finally came up with. So at the end, I have my character here. And if I want to rig it again, I'm going to send it back to Mixamo. So it's pretty easy. You just need to take everything, and you're going to export as an FBX. And you can just leave the default selection because the most important things are the normals, the UV, and everything is included. So I'm going to click on OK, and maybe I'm going to use it. And actually, so Ybot, let's call it IBC. All right, so now I have my stuff, my mesh. Let's go to Mixamo. And here you can download a character. So instead of using one of the character which is loaded with Mixamo, I'm going to use one from there. So no, upload, of course. And select character files, and this is my bot. So my bot now is only 700K instead of 2 megabytes. I don't remember. Well, it's much smaller. That will be important. So I hope it's going to work live with the internet connection from here. All right, perfect. So I have my character. And now I need to rig it, and it's so easy with Mixamo. I mean, you just click next, and then you have to place those points according to this diagram. So it's very easy. The chin is somewhere there, as you can see on the picture. The wrist, the elbows, the knees, and the groin, that will be somewhere there. And that's it. And then the skeleton, if you want to save space, you can use maybe the 3 chain finger or the 2 chain finger. After all, the character is only going to run. When you run, you have your hand like that. So maybe we could simplify it. But anyway, it doesn't matter because in the end, I'm going to bake everything to points. So I won't really save anything by choosing one of those, but it can be interesting. So I'm going to choose standard skeleton. Next is going to do its thing. So up to 2 minutes. Actually, if it takes more than 2 minutes, it means that it failed. So we'll see. And I have to talk about something. I don't know why. So let's wait. And it really depends. Yeah, one trick I can give you with Mixamo: don't throw very high poly mesh, but that's a rule for anything. You've seen in earlier presentation, anyway, the one from Chan. When you rig always a low poly character or almost low poly, not the very high density mesh and so on. And it's done, perfect. And it works. So we can see our character is standing. This is the low poly character. So we're back on track, but now we have a much less dense character than earlier. So I'm going to choose next, next, and this is my actual character, low poly. And now you just have to choose your animation. And Mixamo has a lot of animation, so they are mostly made for video games, but you can use them for almost anything actually. I don't know how many there are, but a lot. And it doesn't matter if you see a character that's not your character, you can use it anyway. That means that animation is optimized for that character. But if I choose it here, we can see it works. It works pretty well. So you can choose really anything. So in my case, it's a very simple animation I want, so I'm going to use run. And you can see there is a lot of running. So you can choose some silly running. And usually you have the option to use in place. We're going to use that. And we have the angel running. And you have the zombie running, I think, somewhere. Well, I don't see it, never mind. And then you have the running I want. So there are many running, and actually if you type sprint or jog, you will have different kind of running. So there's like 100 different choice. So let's take this running. Let's make it in place. And even there you have more option to use, like for the overdrive, which is going to exaggerate the motion of the character, or use the character arm space. If your character is very bulky, very muscular, he might have his arm inside his body, so with that you can just spread apart. And it changed the look of the run. And actually it's not the run I wanted, so that's this one. Yeah, much more dynamic. You can see we have option for the speed, style, and so on. But anyway, I'm going to change the style inside Cinema 4D. That's the idea. Because there is one small problem with Mixamo is everyone is using Mixamo. And I can tell you, I can recognize now when someone is using straight from Mixamo an animation. I can spot it already. So if I can spot it, other people can spot it. It looks a bit lazy and it's not very personal. So if we want to tweak it. So I'm going to download it as it is. And I'm going to try to download. I think it's pretty fast actually. All right, and let's put it at the right place. Let's put it there. Running IBC. IBC, yes. And it's done. Perfect. Okay, so back to Cinema 4D. I don't care about this one anymore, but I'm just going to open a new document, and I'm going to open the Ybot IBC. Okay, this is the one from Mixamo. No, it was the export. Sorry. I don't even remember what name I chose. Okay, so this is the one. The error. I don't. Where is it? Yeah, running IBC. Where did I put it? Oh yes, it's after. Sorry. Yeah, running IBC. Okay, that's the one. So it's 1 megabyte, 1.3 megabyte now. And we have our bot running, and let's take a look. And I'm going also to go to the filter geometry only playback. That's much nicer. So it's not perfect because there are some nasty deformation, but it's going to be a hologram. We really don't care. I mean, nobody is going to see that. It's going to be a ghost, some particles and so on. So even though we have some bad topology a bit here because it's already low poly, it's no problem. Okay, so from there, I could already bake everything down to go to After Effects, but like I said, I want to make that clip unique to give it some character. There are many tools to be used with that. Many stuff I could do. I could use the Mixamo control rig. I could use the motion clip. I could even just go straight at the curves and change a bit the animation. I'm going to use a tool which is very interesting, which is the track modifier. So the track modifier is going to play on already existing keyframes, giving some spring, some smoothing, some noise. Okay, and it works surprisingly well with character. You'll see it's amazing how easy it is and how funny it can be also. So first, I have a problem. My character is running fast, but maybe too fast. On the hologram, actually, it was a bit on slow motion, so we can see better the motion. So we're going to change here the animation. And yes, I don't see anything now because we have the takes. Like I told you, it wasn't a problem earlier. But here, if I go back to the main takes, I'm going to lose So I need to use that text, but if I use that text, I don't have access to the keyframes. So the solution is easy, but you have to know it. You just go to File, and you're going to Current Text to New Document. That get rid of all the text, and now we have the keyframes. So first, I'm going to slow down that a little bit. So again, there would be many ways to do that, but I'm going to make it very simple. I'm going to double the number of frames. I'm going to click here, so it's going to select all the keyframes, and I'm just going to extend there. And you can see very easily if I go there. So this is one too many because we have a gap. So I want to go back to this one, which is nice and smooth. This one, yeah. And now if I play, we have more, the animation feels different just because of the speed. But I wanted to make it really unique. So like I said, I'm going to use the track modifier. So let's go here. And it's here, it's the track modifier. It's, like I said, it's going to work on any keyframe animation. So if you use a vibrate tag, some more graph, it won't work. You have to back down to have keyframes. If you don't have keyframes, it doesn't work. But here we have plenty of keyframes, so it's going to work. And here we have different options. We have the spring, posterization, posterization, yeah, that's it. Noise and smooth. I'm going to use the spring. Spring is going to add spring to the motion, make it look like more dynamic. So let's increase the strength. And if I play, we don't see anything because it's going to work on that track. And like I said, we have a ton of keyframes. If we take a look here, so I need to include the hierarchy. Just check here. And now you can see, obviously, something happened. Now, if you want to have to make it really silly, you're going to increase the strength. And you see, it's like it's running like crazy and exhausted. So this is a procedural effect. It needs to belong on the previous keyframe. So the problem here, our loop is too short. As you can see, the effect is building on, and then it goes back to the beginning. So we just need to increase the length. So what I'm going to do is, again, gives more frame, so times 2. Take all the keyframe again, and I'm going to duplicate. All right? And now my character is running all the time. And now we can see the effect. And you can see it's really silly. If you just increase there, you can have some really fun result. You have the stiffness, also the drag. So I'll move on. Obviously, 50% is too much. Let's go back to maybe 28%. 20% gives motion. You can see up to this portion, the second portion, it's more interesting. But still, we have the effect of the looping. Also, if you look at the feet and the hand, everything is on spring. So the foot are really rotating too much, and the hand too. So you can exclude that from the hierarchy, and you need to do it because it looks very bad. Even though it's going to be a hologram, we don't want to make it look like something that doesn't work. So I'm going to open the hierarchy. So holding Control, you're going to open everything at once. Very neat trick. If you just click once, you have that, and then you have to dig everything. So Control, and there you are. I'm going to lock here our attribute manager. I'm going to exclude. I'm going to exclude so the left hand, the right hand, and the foot, the feet actually. So left foot, right foot. And now, even if I increase a lot the effect, You can say it's extreme, but the foot are somewhat okay. So if I here the head is just weird, so I would exclude the head also. So it's a very easy way to fine tune your animation, to have something that doesn't look like straight from Mixamo. So let's reduce again to 29%. Okay, from there, we're not done because the idea in the end is to have that inside Mir. So Mir, which is After Effects plugin from Red Giant, now can import C4D file directly, but I'm not going to do it right away because as it is, it's not going to work. You need to bake it to point level animation, PLA, okay? Otherwise, it will never work. It's still, here the animation comes through the bones and so on, and Mir doesn't understand that, not yet. Maybe at some point, maybe it will, but now you have to bake it. So first, I need to bake the animation to bake the animation of the track modifier, then bake again to the point level animations. We have two bakes, one after the other. So let's do the first bake. This is this one, very easy. I'm going to function, bake object. It's going to bake everything. I want that. And I don't want to create a copy because I'm sure about what I'm doing and it's going to mess everything because it's going to mess everything. So I uncheck the create copy. I want to bake the position and the rotation. Okay, the PLA is here, but not yet. So let's bake it. And now let's look. So what's happening? We have the track modifier being applied twice. So I don't need the track modifier anymore. And as you can see, here we have the energetic motion of the second part. So it works. And we have a perfect looping if I cut the animation to, remember, I doubled the animation. So I'm going to delete everything up to this frame. I'm going to slide everything back there. And now let's go back to frame 38, which we should have a perfect loop. So almost perfect. I need to, yeah, let's. Yeah, now, okay, it was 38. And now you can see it loops, even though it has the springs, because I baked it. Okay, so now I can do the bake for Mir. You don't need to do that if you want to stay inside Cinema 4D, of course. But if you want to use it for Mir, you don't have any choice. So I'm going to bake now. Why do I have two mesh? Oh, it kept the two mesh apart. Well, that's a problem. That's weird because it didn't do that the first time. Should have been just one mesh. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to bake them both. We'll see if it works. So now we need to bake that to PLA. So it's the actual mesh which is here. So let's go to the surface first. And I'm going to do the other one as well. So here I have switched to the user mode. There is no keyframe because there is no keyframe. This is the actual mesh. The keyframes are on the rig. But that's fine because I want to bake those objects. So let's go to function, bake object, and now I'm going to bake to rotation, to PLA only. Okay, so let's bake it. And we have something very interesting. If you want to do a horror movie, or spook your friends. So what's happening? We still have the skin, the deformation from the rig. So we don't need that anymore. And then we are. And you don't need that either, of course. And now we have our mesh on point level animation. So now it's difficult to work on it. It's almost impossible because those are the points which are animated. There is no more position, rotation, scale. It's every point that are animated. So you only do that when you are perfectly sure about what you're doing, because there is no way back except another file. So because I know what I'm doing, I'm going to save the file, but I would suggest to save it in another file. And this is going to be, you can use it inside Cinema 4D. So After Effects. So let's go to After Effects. And in my main project, well, actually, I don't need it today. So I'm going to create a new project. Let's create a new composition. So it's it's a low diff for the presentation, so it runs smoothly. And then let's create our object, and I'm going to use mirror. And inside mirror, you have some interesting stuff. You already have an object. You can this is the 3D object. You can do some landscape with it. It's interesting. But here I want to use it only to load a geometry. So let's choose the model. It's going to ask for all those models, and here I have all my different tests. I'm going to load the mesh I have created. So I'm going add new model. And did I save it? Yeah, let's save it. So running IBC Mixamo. Let's save it. Running IBC Mixamo. And in After Effects, I'm going to add the new model. It's going to take some time. Yeah, now it's going to take some time. So if it's a very high poly, it would work, but it would take even more time, and it's going to bog down your computer really. It should appear after some time. I don't dare to touch it. Finger crossed. Yeah, I guess we had the presentation effect. It works with the... Oh, okay, yeah. I showed the model, but that's my fault. I forgot to... All right, never mind. So let's go back to the model. I'm afraid I messed it up. Okay, yes. Again. All right, that's a presentation effect. So I had a crash. I have done that several times. It didn't crash. I was very proud about that. So it did. So it doesn't matter. It works. We will see that tomorrow. I'm going back to Cinema 4D for the second part. But this is the workflow. Okay, so it shouldn't crash. But I will do it tomorrow again because I need to do it for the After Effects part. So too bad. All right, so the other part was to have that hologram, that the thing we see here. So this thing was modeled in Cinema 4D, and again imported with mirror and rendered out with mirror. Okay. So because it can be somewhat difficult to model something like that, really not, but I'm going to use another workflow, which is the volume builder. The volume builder is amazing for a number of things, so easy to use. So I don't think I have time in 10 minutes to do everything, but I can show you the final stuff. So which is this one. So it's going to load. So it's calculating here. And here it is. So we have this thing, which is pretty nice with a lot of details. And actually, it's one giant volume builder you have in French. So, and it's only primitives and cloner all put together. It's very easy, very fast to work like that. The caveat, of course, is this. This is a huge model. But unlike our bot, which is animated for each frame, okay, so each frame, it saves all the points for each frames. So the actual number of points is like the number of points times 38 frames. And anyway, anything moving is more difficult to calculate for a CPU. Here, it's just poly, so it's going to, when I'm going to import that inside Mir, it's going to take a long time to load it, but once it's loaded, it's fine. It's going to, because it's not an animated mesh. That's really the point. With static mesh, it's so easy. So we don't care to have that many polygons, because it's the only asset we use. We're not going to do crazy animation with that. We're not going to unwrap. So I'm fine with that. But of course, if it was just one object in a gigantic scene, you wouldn't do that. That's just crazy, I mean, crazy amount of polygon for nothing. But that's not what I'm doing, so I don't care. And to show you how it's made, if we go back here, it's just a bunch of stuff, really unimpressive, put together. The only exception is this one, which has modeled properly, almost. But if everything else is just a thing put together inside our generator with the subtract mode, union, and so on, it's very, very easy, and SDS smooth on the top. So let's try to make the base very quick, just to show you how fast it can be. So this is the base of the thing. And I'm going to add a bunch of rotation segments. So again, if I was actually modeling something, I wouldn't do that, because that's too many polygons. But the volume builder doesn't care. It just cares about the shape. And you need to have a perfect shape. And this is a perfect shape. So I don't care about the number of polygons. I want to have a good base shape. If I put that inside our volume builder, here, I'm going to reduce voxel size to 2. I'm going to add SDS smooth, reduce to min 1, and in the end, let's add our mesher. We have our thing, which looks pretty nice. And already it's very high poly. But from there, it's very easy to do anything. So now, if I just add other stuff, I'm going to take this same object, so control to make it bigger. Let's reduce the size. Let's go down like this. Change the size. No, actually for this one, I wanted to use something else, the tube. So we have a tube, which doesn't need to be really a tube. So I'm going to make it big like that and change. So here I'm going to hide Alt-D, yes, the axis, and increase the rotation segment a lot. Let's reduce the size. Alt-D to get back to the, and let's increase the size. Now what I can do very quickly is to add some cubes. I'm going to reduce the size. Let's put it inside a cloner in radial mode. Let's increase the radius. I'm going to turn on the SSAO so I can see what's going on. And now I'm going to change the size of the cube. So here I want it to be narrower and not that tall. Move the actual, the cloner. Something like that. That should do it. And now I'm going to add many counts. So maybe 36. I don't remember what I used. Okay, that will do. And now if I put everything back here, so here that will be the volume measure, volume builder. The second one is here. Oh yeah, I made a mistake again. This is this one I want to put there. Okay, so that's it. And then if I put the cloner inside, and the cloner, the SDF on top, and the cloner will be on subtract. And that's it. We have our dance on our object. And already we need to reduce the size to 1, for example, to have something smoother, like that. And what's interesting here is if it was some polygon modeling, proper polygon modeling, you have to choose if you want to add 36, 32, 18, because it's going to be difficult to add some more. Here, I just do what I want. So it can be very well used to block out, to make a rough model, and then you're going to model it properly, because you know how it's going to look, that you have the good look, or you can even use it as it is, like I did. So here, if I just change here to 32, and maybe I want the cube to be smaller, like that, and maybe it's going to be also a bit more like this, and finally I want to go back to 36. It's very easy to change anything. And you can go like that, iterate very quickly. So, I just wanted to show the last thing. To create the pedestal here, I want to have a smooth base. And again, that's something that would be difficult to do with polygon modeling. Difficult, but not impossible. It's almost quite easy, actually. But here, if I'm going, no, it wasn't the capsule I used. It's the oil tank. Where is it? Oil tank. So now, if I go to this view here, I'm going to uncheck all there. I'm going to uncheck the cloner too. If I take my oil tank, this is the part I want here. So let's filter work plane. This is the part I want here. So I'm going to intersect it right here. Perfect. So it's going to make a smooth basement like that. And now I can increase the size, and let's make a ton of segment and some more here. If I just put it there in the volume builder, let's put it there. Let's subtract, turn everything back on. You can see I have a nice smooth inside. Again, it's very easy to change, very easy to alter that look. So it's very interesting to have it as a base. And then you go on, and that's how I came up with the final model here. So you can see here, if I just uncheck a few things, maybe uncheck, this one, where is it? This one and this one. So you can see how just those are capsules to create some dents inside. And what's interesting is also this one. I'm going to hide it. Actually, my cloner, where is it? Yeah, this one. There is another one which is hidden, but that which makes the nice design we can see in the end here. Yeah, those two again. Here we are. Yeah, some very important part that just subtract geometry, and those things here are actually just cubes And the intersection with the oil tank make this rounded design like that, and just add more stuff. And those are actually the donuts, the torus, I mean, all the torus on top of each other to create this. And this, I'm going to import it tomorrow for the next part of the presentation using Mir. So even though it's very heavy, it just works. And that's it. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.